Tonight, it's Bring Your J to Work Day. Could somebody from Uncommon James be going home? Tune in tonight for our after show.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey, AfterBuzzers. We have a very exciting night tonight. We have our full panel, so let's go ahead and get started. To my left.
Hi, guys. I'm Caroline.
And I'm Justine.
I'm Angel.
We have so much that happened tonight.
Wait, you have to introduce yourself, girl.
Well, I'm Brittney. Britt, of course. We have so much. I got really excited. We have so much going on tonight. We have Jay making a special appearance at Uncommon James, and maybe somebody is getting let go. I don't know. You have to tune in to find out. What did you guys think of tonight's episode?
I love Jay Cutler so much. I love his dry humor, but I also love that he gets right to the point, and he's not... He has a very no BS attitude about him, which I really, really like.
Yeah, he doesn't beat around the bush. Tonight's episode was funny, especially everyone's face when he walked in.
Yeah, that was my favorite. I think that was my favorite part of the whole thing. Was it?
Actually, I take that back. I think the best part was how many unnecessary breakdowns there were and how everyone needs to dial it in. Mm-hmm. And Jay was calling it out.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think we should talk about that later, but focus on the warehouse move and how this was a very long time coming. We've seen so many things go wrong these past episodes, and honestly, I feel like it's because the space is too crammed.
That's one of the reasons. I mean, it seems like they still have a lot of other issues that they need to work through, but more space will let them lay out, okay, this is what I need to do over here, this is what I need to do over here, so finally they're getting what they need.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. If they're basically sitting on top of one another and the departments are on top of each other, that's going to cause a lot more chaos. And also, when half the problems are related to shipping and you don't actually have a space to lay out the boxes and see where things are going, I mean, more space is always
They all share a table. It's like what we're doing right now.
Exactly.
It's like they're putting the boxes together and just sending them off at the same table. It's awkward.
I think.
No, I was just going to say, when did the company start again? I know I should know that, but because I'm surprised they don't have the warehouses just...
Yeah, at least a season ago.
Yeah, I feel like it's been over a year and a half.
Yeah, so I'm surprised that they don't have...
It's definitely been since early 2017, if not late 2016.
I mean...
But obviously they have new people coming in, and they didn't always have that space, you know? I think when the company first started out, it was literally Jay and Kristin who were putting boxes together and
Jay did the logo.
Out. Yeah, which was not used.
It should just be... I mean, obviously, I know they're too busy, but I feel like they did it better than an entire team that they're paying.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I think about when I sell something on Poshmark and I have just tape and boxes and I'm weighing things and I take up so much space, and that's just me mailing out one thing. Think about how many orders that they've had going out.
Yeah.
And they're mixed in with everyone else's space.
I still don't understand the empty boxes. You pick it up, you can tell there's nothing in it. Unless you think maybe it's just a small pair of earrings. I don't get it.
It's completely unacceptable in my opinion.
Yeah.
You sound like Kristin.
Good. Just like her. I feel like you are Kristin. It's completely unacceptable.
But also a little bit Brittney too.
But has that ever happened to you? Have you ever gotten a package and you're waiting for something to arrive and nothing was in it?
No.
That's never happened to me, but something has been damaged, which they also talked about being a problem.
I just got a computer case and it didn't fit. Sorry, I'm still mad about it. That's why. I got it delivered to me, so I'm like, it didn't fit. They didn't give me the right one.
Oh, okay. So that's...
I guess they make them in different sizes, yeah.
Yeah, but I had a specific
have you ever seen a different size computer? Obviously.
Never thought about...
But I would be less upset if something was damaged because it goes to the post office and all these other people handle it, so it could possibly be their fault.
You've received something without anything in it?
No, I'm saying I haven't. And I'm saying if you have...
It can be damaged, but it doesn't mean it's the company's fault because it could be the post office.
I'm saying if I ordered something from Kristin Cavallari's store and nothing came in the box, I would be vocal about it, they were saying.
And that's shows a lot about who's working for her, because we all probably get a lot of packages throughout our entire lives, and we've never had something not in the box. So that's a problem with them. This doesn't happen a lot, so they need to get it together.
It happens a lot there.
Well, I mean, the labels are printing out a CVS receipt. Nothing looks organized.
Yeah, it's who's doing the check mark? Like, I know there's 2 people in shipping, but are those 2 people doing every single order, or do they have like other people under them?
Sorry to cut you off, but it kind of reminds me of, if, like you said, if we were the space.
Yeah.
Why doesn't each person have a job? Like, you make the box and then you put it in, and then I tape it and you put the label on. Like,
and someone else checks
exactly.
to make sure that everything's in there, like a checkoff list. I don't understand.
Neither do I.
I don't either. Well, it sounds like Uncommon James could be losing some followers, and hopefully we aren't here at AfterBuzz, so we have a little message for you.
Of course. Hey, guys. Before we move on to our next topic, we just want to say thank you for making us the ESPN of TV talk, and for us to continue to grow, we do need your help. If you're watching right now on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. And if you're on iTunes, please give us a 5-star rating. But no matter where you are, leave us a comment so that you can get involved in the conversation, because being a part of AfterBuzz TV has meant so much to all of us, and we truly appreciate you supporting us and doing what we love. So don't forget to tell your friends and family, and keep enjoying our show.
Yes, and we will feature your comments here live on the show, so make sure that you're commenting and liking our page, and we can't wait to hear from you. All right, guys, the anticipation. Somebody made a special appearance tonight at Uncommon James. Justine, what do you think? What do you think about Jay just barging in, all dressed to the nines?
I just loved his facial expressions throughout the entire that little segment. Like, he was just confused the whole time. He's like, "Is she crying?" And then he's looking at the printing labels come out. He's like.
She hits print.
Oh, his expressions, like, I just want to rewatch that. I love it.
It was the funniest. Like, when he walked in and one of the girls were like, "Oh, Jay, you're dressed all businessy," and he's like, "It's a business setting," and it's like,
yeah,
it's like she had no comeback at all.
She's like, "Oh,
you're right."
Yes, sir. Okay, my leash. Like, literally, what are you supposed to say to that?
Right.
I feel like Jay has been around a lot of testosterone as opposed to estrogen, which Matt, who also handles shipping, is saying, as women are like crying left and right. And I feel like Jay just walked in and was amazed by how much inner conflict there can be in a workplace that isn't related to work. It's just based off personality. Because I feel like when he was a quarterback on the football team, if there's a problem, it's probably plays aren't being made, the connection isn't being made between players, but it's all work related, something that can get solved. And I feel like a lot of the problems at Uncommon James are just based upon people not liking each other.
I agree. I feel like he walked in and it was like a no-brainer to him. He saw all these problems instantly. They're things that Kristen's been around every single day, and like he just came in and like cracked the whip and was able to just pin the problem down. And maybe because Kristen's been so used to it, and there's so much personal things going on, since like there's so many friendships in the workplace as well, maybe she just oversees it. I don't know.
Maybe she is just too used to it, because I was like, when Kristin and Jay were talking and he was letting her know the issues, I'm like, how does she not know this? She works there, she owns the place, so it's like she's sitting there, she's like, really, that's happening? It's like, yeah, girl.
I have a question for you guys. Do you think that they should hire more men and not have it all women?
I do. I think so.
I think so, just from a company standpoint. I mean, aren't there like rules and regulations that you're supposed to have like a certain amount of like...
I mean, there's
one guy, right?
Just equal opportunity.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to like reach a quota with how many men versus women.
Yeah, that's what I was...
I don't think that's a thing. If it is, it's unbeknownst to me. But what I think does need to happen is the right roles need to be filled by the right people. And I know Kristin was saying, I think her name is Kelsey, the other shipping girl, and she's like, oh, well, Kelsey actually has can be a designer. Then why is she handling shipping? That doesn't make any sense to me. They're so far off. Like, don't just fill the roles to fill them.
Yeah, exactly.
And so she was saying the reason why we have 2 shipping managers is because we're not sure Matt can fulfill the job.
Then why is he doing it?
Why is Matt doing that? So I don't understand, if you're just hiring people willy-nilly, why you expect people to succeed in their jobs.
Well, what's more confusing to me is we found out tonight they actually have an HR department. So isn't HR supposed to be in charge of making sure everyone's doing their role and that they're qualified and making sure that they understand what their job entails? Because it seems like nobody knows what their job entails.
Maybe they don't have a place to put all their files because wasn't HR like in a closet in the first episode? So
I don't know.
Maybe they just can't get to the papers because there's no space.
I mean, I think that everybody needs a specific role, kind of like what you were saying. You can't have one person doing 5 different things. Everybody's hired for a specific role, and then you stick to that, and it's just not happening. And I think Jay walked into it from an outsider standpoint and as a male and is like, what is going on? Like, what is happening?
Also, we heard, I think, episode 1 for sure, maybe a little bit in episode 2, she's got like 55 employees. So if you've got 55 employees, why do you have one person doing 5 things? Like, what are all these other people doing? Packaging empty boxes? Like, what is going on?
I think that's probably because Brittney is on a power trip, and I feel like she got a taste of this power when Kristin really instilled a lot of her trust in her and was like, okay, well, I'm at the top right now, basically, other than Kristin, so I'm going to take everything over and say that I'm overseeing everything. I get a final say or whatever. I feel like in her relationship with her boyfriend, John, right? That's his name?
I don't know.
Stone.
John Stone, but it's John Stone. So, like, with Stone, I felt like she was taking care of him, and that was where most of her responsibilities lied. And so when she got all this responsibility at Uncommon James, she just almost went overboard. And even Jay said she's doing so many jobs, but not actually doing a good job at any of them.
She's
so
half-assing 3 different jobs instead of doing one job 110%.
Yeah, and that people like that bother me. It's like, yes, you are in a position of power, but you need to like delegate.
Then she needs to delegate, exactly. Like if you're in a position of power, like your job is to delegate and have people help you. You have to lay the responsibilities out. You can't do it all. It's not possible.
Well, I guess she just doesn't like asking for help.
Well, then she shouldn't be in a position of power.
She likes
but the
having the
problem is
power.
like she's lamenting to her boyfriend Stone, and then I found it really disheartening when Stone's like, I have to learn how to share you. It's like, what? Of course, like she has a job, she has a career,
weird.
she
That
can
whole
do
thing was
whatever.
weird.
Yeah, I mean, like maybe he's being funny, but I didn't find it
think he
that
was being funny.
Like, yeah, I genuinely think
He was like, are you proud of me? I'm like,
It's like, do you want a round of applause for being like a semi-supportive boyfriend? I don't get it.
The only thing I thought was funny was when she was trying to talk to him and she needed to get to work on time, and he's like, wait, I need to pull over, and then he's like,
I
come
liked
get this
that.
puppy.
I think we need to put him in a box and ship him away to one of the customers and get him out of here. I'm not a huge fan.
Yeah, I don't like him
I want to
either.
talk about the shipping issue a little more and how Reagan was trying to fold the box and go
my
through.
God.
So there's a 50-page
On how to
manual.
fold.
At this point, what is the solution to this problem? What do you guys think? I think Jay should do a tutorial video on how to
fold the
package all the boxes. Everyone's so
that's a
interested in
fantastic
Jay.
idea.
They'll watch it. They'll comment on it. They'll talk about it.
And
Why do
he's-
we have 50-page manual?
and he's so into YouTube. Remember in the beginning he was painting and he's like,
Yeah,
oh,
he learned it
YouTube. I
online.
learned on YouTube. That's a really good idea.
I mean, I think people would relate to it. He'd be like, hey, here's a box.
It would
and
be
then
great.
you fold this right flap
He'd be super
down.
sarcastic
Like,
about
he'd be
it.
super
No,
sarcastic,
exactly.
but also he would convey what needs to be done in a very, very basic, understandable manner.
And people
Yeah.
would pay attention
Great-
to that. Like
great
he
idea.
said, in
I
the
think so.
50-page book, people are gonna throw that away as soon as they leave out. They will watch his video.
Yeah, it's like an IKEA pamphlet. When you're-
Exactly. I was just gonna say that. I'm like, it's just like 50 steps, no words, and you're just like
Yeah.
the whole thing is like stuck upside down, and screws are missing, and it just doesn't make sense.
But like, also, it's a box. You should really know how to fold a box. I
They
do
were all
understand.
confused.
I do understand some shipping boxes or packages are weird with all the corners and stuff. But come on, you like use your brain. Just like
Yeah.
a slight like. Put a little bit more effort into it. I think Jay said to Reagan at one point, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "I'm doing my job." And he's like, "What is that?" And she's like, "I don't know." That doesn't sound like
They should
maybe
have been fired right then and there.
Maybe like your job should be to learn how to fold the box if you're just going to do the demonstration. I don't know. maybe
Yeah,
I'm being a little
before
bit
doing a demonstration, how about you know how to do that?
well, they wanted somebody who hadn't seen the manual to try
to
to
see
make
how-
the box, to see if the manual was even
Yeah.
legible, I guess.
Which also, Reagan's not the brightest crayon in the box, so that kind of didn't help the situation either.
I feel like, though, she's actually really misunderstood. I feel as though maybe she's somebody who isn't necessarily book smart, but she's street smart. But then again, if she's street smart, shouldn't you be good with figuring things out like that? I don't know.
I don't know. In season 1, she kind of just came out and was like, I don't really ever know what's going on. She kind of just came out and said, I'm kind of dumb.
I don't know how she got on there.
I don't know. I don't know how half these people are even. Shannon could have been better at this point. I think Shannon could have understood the manual more than.
I think she did. She just was more
Shannon was
into
very
herself.
bright. I think she was very bright and,
Yeah.
like you said, very into herself.
And that's her downfall. But she didn't want to work at a store. She wants to work at Shannon World.
Right. Your passion you have to want to be passionate about Kristin Cavallari and her brand, which we saw someone who was passionate about Kristin Cavallari's brand, and she was let go from the company, but is now potentially coming back. Caroline, what do you think about that?
Okay, so it's interesting because we never saw Kaylee in the first season.
I was thinking the same thing.
And I was like, who is this Kaylee person?
I wonder if there's a few people that we didn't see in the first season that were on the second season. I don't really understand why.
Well, in last week's episode, we didn't see Reagan, but I think they showed Kelsey not Kelsey. They
Colby
showed
in the
Colby in the
background.
background, and she was like, I was here and here and here and here. And so maybe Kaylee was also there, but I got the sense that she's, I don't know.
Not interesting?
No. That's not at all what I was gonna say. No, I was gonna say I just got the feeling that she was not there for that long. Like she kind of came in, was incredibly effective, and then because she knew what she was doing in her job, unlike many other people at the company, that rubbed others the wrong way, and therefore, we're letting you go.
You know, maybe Kaylee is the one who got fired. Maybe she just wasn't there at the time of filming.
Well, I was gonna say yes, and that, and also filming. A lot of it is edited. Like, there's so many people that are there that were.
Yeah.
I mean, think
we
how many
can't do 55 people with their own
That's
confessional.
what I was gonna say. Think how many people are in. Like you said, there's 55 whatever people there. You can't have them all in a reality show. So she could easily have been there, and then they just cut her out.
I just thought of something I loved when Kaylee walked into the party and Matt's fake smile.
Oh my gosh.
Was quite possibly the highlight of my life. Matt, if you're watching, don't ever do that again. Your fake smile is your tell.
fake.
It's so bad. He was like,
It was like,
oh my gosh, how are you?
I was telling you, I was like, I forgot that they weren't in LA at that point because the fakeness that radiated from these people, and they walked in, and I'm not saying you have to be like a bitch to her or anything, but they're, hi, how are you? Oh, can I see the pictures?
Yeah.
I'm like, and then the voice, I'm like, are you guys serious? Like, no.
Yeah.
Like, it's not about that.
To play devil's advocate, Kristin kind of has an annoying voice. She's like, "Hey guys."
Oh my God, yes, love her, but her voice is really
from Laguna,
LA.
whatever. She's very LA. So a lot of these people that work there are not LA. They are from Nashville.
You
or
wouldn't
from
be
Tennessee.
able to tell.
I just like they were super fake, and like with me, if we have to work together, I'll be cordial. I'm not a mean person at all, but if I don't like you for whatever reason, if you're mean to me, like I'm just not gonna speak to you. I'm not gonna be like how we were saying, oh my gosh, can I see your wedding pictures? I don't care about your wedding pictures.
Yeah, I'm either gonna be
like, I'll talk about them in a group chat with my friends and be like, that dress was ugly, but I'm not gonna ask you like, can I see? No, I'm just not gonna talk to you.
I feel like I'm either just not gonna say, okay, if I work with you, cordial. If I don't, I'm either just, depending on my mood, not gonna say something, or I will say something. Like, I'm not gonna yell at you, but I'll just be like, what are you doing here?
I'm not gonna throw a drink in your face.
it
No,
felt.
I just hate, I can't do fake people. I can't.
No,
It's crazy.
it felt just as awkward as like those scenes in Laguna Beach where they would like
Just
make everyone
pause.
just show up in the same place and then like they awkwardly run into each other and you get all their reactions. It did feel very fake and LA to me.
Oh man, that reminds me of the first episode of The Hills that Kristin comes on, and she runs into Audrina, and they just like have a fight over Justin Bobby, and they're like astonished to see each other. They're like, oh my God, that's Kristin. It's like, yo, your producer set this up. Like, let's be real.
You're on the same show. Like, come on.
Like, there's a camera there and there's a camera there. We all know what's going on. I mean, in this case, obviously, it's a business, but what bothered me is that she was actually the only one who seemed to be successful at her job, or in this, like, Kristin clearly liked how she was running things.
Yeah.
So she kind of reminded me of Kristin in the sense of where I think she would run things, and, like, I forget who said that they were probably not if jealous, but kind of, a lot of the other people are lacking what she seems to have, that work ethic, so they're probably just bitter about it.
Right. I mean, what's interesting is Kristin was at the Emmys when Kaylee got let go from her job. And Kaylee, her side of the story was that she got sat down by HR for a 30-minute meeting where she was just told people were complaining about her. However, HR could not tell her what the complaints were.
Yeah.
Because if she did, then Kaylee would know who complained about her. What is that? What do you guys think about that? How would you feel, Angel, if HR pulled you aside at your job and said, hey, we need to let you go because people are complaining about you, and you say, I'd like to know what I did wrong, and they say, well, we can't tell you?
It's so interesting that you ask me this question because I've had an experience like that before.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. And I mean, in my case, it was just like a restaurant. So that's not a job that's, oh my God, this is going to help me in my career. So I was just like, cool. Bye. But I mean, if it was something that I cared about, no, I would definitely like be like, no, you're gonna, like, you have to tell me. You're HR. Like, isn't it required by law? Like, I don't understand. I mean, you can still let me go, fine, but at least let me know what I did wrong.
And not even that. I don't know. I can't remember if it was Kristin who said it. I think maybe it was Kristin about how she was saying that if this happens, she wasn't even able to be told what the complaints were so that she can get better. It was just like, no, you're fired, but you want to get better at your job, so why not help her instead of just, it's because these people are fake and they don't want to, like, confront the issue.
Well, I think it goes back to the fact that Kristin feels like it's almost a sorority and all the girls are ganging up on people and forming cliques, and this is a workplace for first and foremost. And so I love Kristin, and I think that she's a great boss lady in the sense that she has 3 different lines, is a successful mom and wife, but she needs to stop hiring people based off of, like, a vibe she gets with them.
And
if
can
she
they
likes
do the
them.
job?
Yeah, she needs to hire people who are actually qualified for the job description. And also, not everyone needs to look like they can be on the cover of a magazine. You know what I mean?
I know. I was wondering, do they, like,
are they all
They have to
part-time
send in, like,
models, you know?
headshots.
Yeah, do you have
and,
to
like,
send in a
bikini
headshot?
shot?
Yeah, that's what I kind of got the vibe that, well, I mean, obviously you're signing an NDA and some type of contract if you're going to be on the TV show.
Yeah,
That's
so
what
maybe.
I was thinking. There's probably a lot more different types of people than
I'm
they just
hoping.
take a few that they think would be good for TV or whatever.
But like, even to this point is, oh, let's ask Worth and his buddies
Yeah, his
who work
really
next
hot-
who work at the gym next door to move our equipment. It's like, shouldn't you actually hire a moving company who knows how to close
they
the
want
back
the
of
hot
the
guys.
moving truck? You
Yeah,
know?
they have stuff falling off. Like, how do you not
But
even
then there
close the
wouldn't be a
back?
show. So some of these things are on purpose.
I mean,
Exactly.
what did you guys think of Colby and Cole?
Wait, I also just want to bring it back to Kaylee right quick, just because when Kristin said that she liked her, but then she got let go while Kristin was totally out of the picture at the Emmys, but they hadn't spoke about it. So if you liked her and she did good and you find out that she just got fired without your input, why are they just now speaking?
I was wondering the same thing. I was thinking, why didn't Kristin reach out to her then, or why didn't Kaylee try to reach out to Kristin?
I think that's an uncomfortable situation if you're the person that's been let go and then you're going to go and try to directly contact the CEO of the company.
Yeah,
if
I
she was
wouldn't.
maybe like her supervisor, and also maybe she didn't know that Kristin thought so highly of her, you know?
That's true, too.
Yeah, so I was like, not for because there's Kaylee and Kelsey. Not for Kaylee's standpoint, but like Kristin, if you did like her, then why didn't you reach out? Because I wouldn't, like you said, I wouldn't like reach out to her, and I probably would have thought that it came from Kristin. Probably would have thought that she knew, you know, that it happened, at least as her company.
Right, that's true. That's a good point. I mean, if I got let go and HR pulled me aside, I would probably think that it maybe came from the top.
Yeah.
If it was something that serious. So,
Yes and no. I feel like a lot of times the people that are they're not at the very tippity top, but they have some type of authoritative power are often deceived by the people below them just because, like Justine was saying, they're jealous. They don't appreciate the work ethic behind it. And I thought that was really weird when Kelsey, again, was like, she was the devil to me. And she said something about
so
Kaylee not addressing her when introducing everyone. And I was just like, in what setting would that work? How could she literally not address her unless she's not in the room, or she only addressed like 4 out of 20 people and somehow Kelsey got offended because of that?
And that would make Kaylee, I keep having to look at my notes because so many names, Kelsey, Colby, Kaylee. Like, I'm like, what's going on? But I feel like that would make Kaylee look bad if she was like, you know, introducing everyone and then just skipped over one person. Then you're looking like a bee in front of everybody.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I
Yeah.
feel like it's a weird
How would that
that it worked.
When she was just talking about her being the devil, and crying, I'm like, everybody. And the funny part is, Kristin knows all these girls' cries because she's like, oh, are they crying again? Oh, she's crying again. I'm like, so this is like a common thing. This is like a common thing that happens. This isn't.
I mean,
just
Shannon cried all the time in season 1, and it was like she was like, Kristin would get mad,
Right.
And it's like, well, the work environment seems to be really high pressure, and nobody likes each other. So yeah, I would probably cry.
I mean, what's really confusing to me is this episode, Kristin said, I can't just have mediocre employees that everybody likes, but yet that's what
They
I
don't
feel
even
like.
like each other.
I don't know. Like, it's, and they're less than mediocre. And
They don't like each other.
She's a smart businesswoman, so what's the problem?
That's what I agree with you. But can we just really quickly talk about the Colby and Cole thing?
You just want to talk about it because you want to talk about Cole, don't you?
I didn't say that, but I did look into...
Their names are cute.
I did look into Colby's Instagram to see if they're dating. They're not.
I mean, I didn't.
She shot her shot and missed it.
Wait, hold on.
think
Are we
they
getting
were.
this right? Because isn't Colby the one that... Okay, wait. I think... Actually, we've all been calling Cole... I think we've been calling Kelsey... Or I think we've been calling Colby Kelsey. I don't know. We've
We
been
need
calling
a
somebody the
picture
wrong
chart.
thing.
I don't
What
think
we
so, but I
need-
think we need Jay to come in and we need him
to draw a chart
get
with
a
their
chart
pictures.
going.
There's so many K's. Like,
Yeah.
No,
Colby,
Kelsey is crying.
Kelsey.
No, I put
Kristin.
Colby loves
It's just
Cole
too
in my
much.
notes.
Right,
Yeah.
but
Kelsey,
I thought
Colby,
Colby
Cole,
was the one.
Kaylee.
I thought Colby was the one that cried about Kaylee coming back.
I'm
Yes?
I'm
No.
confused and I don't know.
I'm
just
getting
gonna
a
be honest
headache.
with you.
Yeah, can we move
I'm
on?
not quite sure. There's like
No, because
6
we have,
panic
to, we have
attack.
to make sure that the viewers understand what
Colby
we're
was the
talking.
one who went outside crying.
Yes, okay, so I was saying, we were all saying that was Casey, probably because I said it first, and that's Colby.
Okay, so Colby is the one who likes Cole and who was crying.
And was crying
and
over Kaylee.
And Casey
It's a
is...
tongue twister.
I don't know who Casey
Oh, wait,
is.
but
There's no Casey.
Kelsey.
Kelsey was also
Oh my God,
crying
I
this
can't-
episode
I
too,
can't.
though. She was crying.
Kelsey is at shipping, right?
Yes,
the one
That's
who's
who Jay was like, is
Kelsey,
she crying?
Yes,
Kelsey
Kelsey-
does labels.
Yes.
Okay.
So
gets
Kelsey,
print.
Kelsey been saying Kelsey or Casey. Like, no, Casey. Kelsey
and Matt are they're in charge
man.
of shipping.
There's too
It's
many
worse than the
K's and
Kardashians.
C's.
Kelsey and Matt in charge of shipping, and Kelsey was the one crying when Jay walked in. Colby was crying at the...
And Colby's into Cole.
That's
And
how I
Colby's
remember
Cole.
it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, but like Colby, relax. She's like, I don't know what to say to him.
She was like a
And that-
5-year-old when he came
Yeah.
in. She was like, I can't look over there. I can't.
I'm like, are you not maybe like 25 or 26? You gotta like reel it in,
Just
girl.
say
If you want to
hi.
have a chance.
Didn't she
say
ask
hi.
him if they could go get hitched, or was she joking with one of the other
No,
girls?
because they
I heard
exchanged
them.
numbers,
And then,
so
she immediately jumped to, so when are we getting married?
I don't think she said that. I think somebody else was like, oh, when are
Okay.
you guys getting married? But again, Kristin was like really into the idea of Colby being into Cole, and then she was like, but my workers really need to be paying attention.
I know, so let's not bring in the hot boys from next door
Right.
to help move the boxes.
Hire a moving company.
And she's like, oh, let me see. I want to see them. Like, you didn't know what you were
Right.
doing. Like, you didn't know
Yeah.
who was coming to move all your stuff.
Yeah.
Please. Like you said, she could have hired a moving company, and she hired the hot boys next door. I think she's trying to stir up some drama.
well,
Possibly.
that's like Justine said, that's TV. That's good TV.
All right, well, let's talk about some more good TV, and let's get into some news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Okay, so as you guys know, the show is filmed way earlier than when it's airing. And so just yesterday, Heidi Pratt, formerly known as Heidi Montag, posted a cute little boomerang video with Kristin Cavallari at her Uncommon James pop-up shop for her line, actually Little James, under the whole Uncommon James brand. It's a cute little
That's cute.
sachet.
Yeah.
I don't even know what they're doing. Kind of a shimmy.
Yeah, like a little shimmy.
And she's like, oh, always fun seeing Kristin and her. I love her Little James line. Obviously, Heidi has a little kid, Gunner, so maybe he's wearing Little James. This was at the Pacific Palisades Village. So I think today is the last day that the shop is available. So if you are watching right now and in the California area and got a kid, or have a future child in your mind, head on over to Pacific Palisades Village for Little James clothing. But I think it's fun just because they're still such good friends. And that was also, I think, the original draw for Kristin to come on to the show.
That's what I was gonna say, because I loved The Hills, but I'm not gonna lie, I forget who hated each other and who didn't.
too.
All I know is that Lauren and Heidi hated each other. I didn't remember who Kristin was friends with. It was just so much.
Well, no, it was originally they pinned Kristin and Lauren against each other.
Yeah.
And that Heidi was her friend. Then when obviously Kristin didn't do The Hills until the 5th season, let me tell you something. I got all the I know all
she
the
wasn't
drama.
there till the 5th season.
Yeah, what? Do you know? So
I thought it was earlier.
They brought, maybe it was the last episode of season 4. They brought her in, and then she was a recurring character because Lauren left. So they brought Kristin in to be
about that.
the crazy thing. Also, Heidi lost her best friend in Lauren. Kristin and Lauren had beef, so why not bring Kristin in and don't you remember when Heidi? It was there was a whole thing when Heidi.
Don't you remember when the show was scripted?
When Heidi got married and Kristin and Lauren were both wearing the same shade blue dress, and it was oh my god, the horror. So yeah, I just think it's cool though that they're actually still friends, even if I don't necessarily love Heidi Montag.
Do you think that they really hated each other, Kristin and Lauren?
Probably.
No, I think
know.
that they've said that. I think it was hard because for Kristin, she was actually dating Stephen Colletti, who we talked about on the show last week because they made a quick reference to him. And the producers on Laguna Beach would try to get Lauren and Stephen, who were friends, but would put them together and try to create this romantic storyline of a third wheel and a love triangle. So I think that actually, as a young girl, Kristin was this is really hard for me to understand that this isn't just fake and that this girl isn't actually trying to steal my boyfriend. And I think now they're in such different circles. Lauren isn't involved with the Hills reunion.
But Lauren and Heidi, I think in real life, they actually
They absolutely.
genuinely
If you
have fallen out.
ask Heidi about Lauren, she's I'm sick of it. I don't want to talk about it, and she's bitter. Lauren's whatever, I'm living my life. I have a hot husband and a son, and your husband, aka Spencer, is into crystals.
Yeah, but they're still together. Blows my mind. I thought they'd.
That's been a
Heidi
long
and
time.
Spencer. I know we're moving in another direction, but really quick, Heidi and Spencer. I remember being
They're not
I
gonna
give them
last.
6 months, and they're together 10 years. There's a lot of people that it's not worth going for a guy to ruin a friendship. That happened with me and a girl years ago, and they broke up because it's was it worth it? But it must have been for her. She's still with them, has a kid, so
Living our life.
Yeah, I'm a little shocked. I did not see them staying together, but I mean, it's cute to see Kristin and Heidi
they talked about how
reuniting.
scripted it was too.
Yeah.
Even Spencer's I'm really not that bad, and said this whole
That's the thing. I think they made him out to be someone that he wasn't.
Oh, I get bad vibes. But also, I you know what? We're digressing. Anyways, that is the news and gossip from this week on Kristin Cavallari.
All right, let's switch gears and let's get bossy and pick our bosses of the week.
All right.
I got mine.
All right, why don't you start?
Jay. I don't care if is this girl and guys, because I'm picking a guy. I don't care.
You can pick whoever
he is
you
a
want.
boss, and I loved him. I love him.
I think it's between Jay and, checking my notes, Kaylee. Kaylee did seem like she had like a tough approach. Like I remember Kristin said she was like taking phones out of people's hands, but that's because they were giving wrong information and they were on the phone. So honestly, I probably wouldn't have even been that offended because, I mean, how else do you get someone's attention like right in the moment when they're giving wrong information? So maybe she said sorry after. So yeah.
Just to be different, even though my answer is obviously Jay, I would like to give a round of applause to the cameramen who captured all of the incredible faces of like the men and women guffawing at the thought of like Kaylee coming back and just all the crying, and so they did excellent cinematography work.
I wonder if those faces were genuine or like I work as a producer, so sometimes we have to go back and get the reaction shots.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they were super exaggerated. Like
Matt's was pretty real.
And the
so
crying, which crying Kay was it?
we need to try to get Matt on the show. I think he would be really great on the show. We need to find out if that reaction was genuine or not.
Matt, if you're watching,
Come on. Okay.
I think that was Kelsey.
Kelsey, yeah.
Or Cole. No, it was Colby. It was Colby, the one who was like,
She was like, that tequila shot
yeah,
really?
it's not hiding my facial reaction.
But did you see her? She genuinely was like this.
She looked like she
And
saw
then-
a ghost, which is what she
then the
said.
second, I've never seen a face go from to hi. Like in a second, she just
She didn't know what to
switched.
do. She just was fake.
Well, I know her reaction was real because you could see Kaylee walking in, and they wouldn't.
Yeah, she
they
had
wouldn't
no
have
time.
They wouldn't have redone that. They want like the first reaction.
She had
so
no
she
time.
had no time. Like she did not even. All angles
No
were on
hands
her,
up.
and it was just. She was just like.
As a producer, are they like, all right, she's coming, eyes on so and so, and they like put the camera right
I think
on
they
them?
want the
That's how the
real-
Hills worked. It was like, and send in Audrina. And it nobody really knows. So some of
Yeah.
it is raw reaction
Yeah.
and real. But, I mean, at the end of the day, they're all in the same location. They're all
Yeah.
so something's bound to happen, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Well, my boss of the week is Jay. I mean, I just have to go with my gut. And him coming in and scaring all the employees. And I just think it was much needed. I think that, like I said, Kristin gets very caught up in everything else that's going on, and having an outsider come in and just see what's going on. I think he noticed things that Kristin overlooks. And so I think it was great that he made the chart and kind of sat Kristin down. I think it was a very eye-opening experience.
That's a good husband.
His little, like, chart.
I know. And I'm like, is he really, like, he's just so bored. How bored is he? Like,
He's planting trees in
just-
overalls.
He's just looking for, like, little projects to do. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know. Living the life, I guess.
Retired life.
Well, let's get into some predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV.
I said I always feel like we're in a
like
a witch or
yeah,
whatever.
something really weird. What do we think is going to happen with Kaylee coming back to Uncommon James based off of how we saw everyone react at the cocktail party?
Drama.
Yeah, I think it's going to be resistance because, what was it? Kaylee was like, Kelsey was like,
Somebody with the name that starts with a K.
yeah. She was like telling the girls, oh my gosh, like it was so hard for me. So I feel like the other girls are going to be on her side because they know her. But so there's going to be resistance because of that. But eventually they're going to say, oh, she does make sense.
Well, did you see Brittney was
like,
standing-
no, why are you doing
Well,
that?
yeah, she was trying to get out of it. Like, why? I liked how real she was. She was like the realest one where she's like, oh,
Yeah.
so why do you feel this way? And why are you bringing them along into it? Like,
Yeah.
why? What did she do to you? And just trying to figure out the situation. They really didn't have anything to say. They're just kind of following one of the K's.
Well, I feel like if there was that much drama between Kaylee and Colby and Kelsey and all these people, like, why didn't we see all this drama in season 1 if there was so much
Yeah.
drama with Kaylee?
Well, because they didn't have that many employees. I think within the hiatus, they hired like 40 more people. Because you see, within Uncommon James, the first season, there's really only the like 5 or so girls on the floor who aren't full-time employees. And then the only full-time employees were Brittney, Worth, Reagan, and Shannon. And like the model, what was her name? Taylor or something?
oh, yeah.
Who like would sometimes come on. I don't know. I just think that I love E! News, and so I'm super excited to see Zuri Hall. She looks like she's going to be interviewing Kristin on next week's episode at the Grove for her pop-up shop for Uncommon James Jewelry. So I'm excited for that. That's my prediction, that I'm going to enjoy
That you're gonna
watching
enjoy
the
it.
interview.
All right, Justine, what do you think? Any
Drama.
predictions? Drama?
Just that there's going to be drama.
Just-
I really don't have anything specific that I think's going to happen. I just think there's going to be drama, crying, tears, and just good TV.
Well, at first, based off of the cocktail party, I kind of felt like maybe Kaylee wouldn't return after leaving the cocktail party and how everyone made her feel.
Yeah.
Like, I personally, why would you want to work in an environment, like, it's never going to be the same.
Because it's a show and drama.
Yeah, I mean,
But the way that
That's
Kristin,
why I think she's coming back.
the way Kristin said when they were talking at that bar, the way she made the job sound, it was almost like it was a seasonal thing. So we really need you to come on right now for this really busy time, Black Friday or whatever it was. So maybe she would just be there for like a temporary amount of time.
I think it might be temporary, but could grow into something else. And like, honestly, for like a regular job where I got fired from and people didn't like me there, I for sure would not go back, because who wants to like go into that situation daily? But if I'm going to be on national TV, I'm going back. So this is a different situation.
Way to keep it real.
Right. Y'all don't have to like me, but I'm getting camera time.
But what is the saying? All press is good press,
Right.
or whatever.
Right.
And they're getting paid for it.
And right, you're getting paid to do a job. Plus, like, now everyone knows you. So even if you leave there, you'll
You
get
got
more
that
offers.
Instagram like number followers go up.
Yeah,
Right, exactly.
So I would go back.
Well, hopefully she turns things around. I do agree that we're going to see a lot of drama, but I'm hoping that Uncommon James can get their shit together. And hopefully, I would love to buy a necklace, but I'm just so nervous that I'm going to get an empty box.
It won't come.
Ooh, shade.
Sorry, Kristin. You can come back on the show and we'll have a chat with you about that. AfterBuzzers, we enjoyed having you, and we look forward to having you guys come tune in next week. Be sure to follow us on AfterBuzz TV and check my Instagram out at fitbritla_.
You guys can find me, Caroline Thayer, at Caroline J. Thayer.
And you can find me, Justine, at Justine DiVanna.
And I'm Angel Saunders, and that's my Instagram, Angel Saunders.
Same here, Justine DiVanna.
We'll see you next week. Thank you.
Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principal.